So, spider course at Peterhead.
Yeah, Peterhead, yeah. To evaluate, to see if it was any good for the MOD.
Spider course is, what's a spider?
It was a ADS, atmospheric diving suit, but with no legs. It was just like an observation chamber, really. It was no good to us. You had to be put on the job, and you had to work. You couldn't walk around and do like Jim did. It was like an observation chamber. So I went and evaluated it, and it wasn't up to. I come back and told my boss it was no use for us at all.
What would they be used for then? Who would have bought one of these, or is it a bit of a
it had arms.
bit of a white elephant?
It had arms.
Yeah.
So they would put it on an oil rig. They would put you down onto the Christmas tree, and you could, as long as you was put in to work on the pipes, and it was okay. But you couldn't walk into the pipes. You just had to be, manoeuvred right over the job, sort of thing.
No good for you then.
No good at all. No. So 2 weeks course, and it was a waste of time.
So you took part in a few trials of different types of atmospheric diving suits.
Yep. Jim was one. Jim. Jointed Iron Man, they called it.
All right. I wonder what Jim stood for.
But Jim Perez was the inventor, as far as I remember. He was the inventor, Jim Perez.
What did you look for in a good atmospheric diving suit?
We were picking up planes again and helicopters with the suit. We went down, ejector seat, had to put the pin in before we could lift the ejector seat, and then take the pilot out of it, bring him up.
Eventually you got like propellers on these, didn't you? Was that the gym suit?
Yeah, it's a flying, what you call flying gym.
Like jetpacks?
Jetpack, yeah. You can move with your feet and your fingers. You can control it up, down, mid-water, what you call mid-water capability.
If you look inside one of these things, it's all controls and buttons, is it?
Well, you've got what you call Protosol, which gives you a life expectancy of 12 hours, right? That's what feasibly that's what it's supposed to be. It is longer. We do tests on that. We used to go down to Swanmore and do tests on these breathing systems. And I've seen us go down there for 24 hours. In fact, I got septicemia sitting in the one place for 24 hours.
Are they powered then? So when you're moving your arms, is that your own muscle power, or is it electric assistance?
No, that's the arms is your own power.
Yeah.
But you can still control the up and down or sideways with the little box, and your feet. Got pedals as well.
And in these suits, there's no need to compress and decompress, is there?
No.
So you're just up and down in there.
Atmospherics, yeah. One atmospheric, yeah. Which happens to be the surface, 14.7 pound, whatever it is.
And with these suits, they're just good for picking things up and cutting things. Could you weld?
You could weld.
You could
burn,
weld with them?
Yeah, it was all test. We did trials on that as well, yeah. And breaking on the nuclear submarine, they've got Perspex glass, which you break to get the pipes on, to put air pipes onto it. And this was the idea. We used to do trials on that as well.
So a nuclear submarine has got a compartment on the outside.
Yep.
Where if it's in trouble,
yes,
as long as it's not too deep, the diver in his atmospheric suit can go down.
1,500.
Sorry?
You can go down to 1,500 feet to work. No problem.
And there's a little compartment on the side where the diver can.
No, it's on the outside. The Perspex is on the outside.
Yeah.
Which you break, so you can put the hoses on to put air into the submarine.
Is this international thing?
Oh yeah, it's NATO. It's a NATO joint.
So if you had to say, just for example, you were called off the Kursk,
yep.
Would they have the same arrangement?
Kursk, no, that's not NATO.
No, I know that, NATO. But it just would have been international rescue.
Well, you could use of course you could use their tools to do it properly. Yeah.
Because your son now works on a submarine rescue ship, isn't he?
That's right, LR5, yeah.
And I believe that's equipped for the submarines of any nations.
That's right. Yeah.
Since the Kursk sunk, then they got together and decided we need something, an international fittings, as they say, like an international connection.
Yeah. Which we have. We've got that. And it's based in Helensburgh? Or, no, Renfrewshire somewhere. The actual module is ready to go on a plane and a big heavy loader anywhere in the world for the submiss. And she's based in Scotland. It's a new LR5, it's worth $1 million.
When it comes to escaping from a submarine, they used to practice, didn't they, in a big tower.
Yep.
In Gosport,
But then they went,
HMS Dolphin.
Yes, but then they went to the fjord in Norway, 600 feet, and done it there. They do that every year now. They escape from 600 feet.
Is that what every crew member of submarine?
Well,
is that
pick so many men to do it. They don't do the whole crew. They just pick so many men to do it, and they end up with bends and every damn thing.
Do they have to do it to become a submariner?
Do you have to do that? Yeah. Well, somebody needs to escape. They just bring a flap down and away they go.
Yeah.
Like a parachute. Away they go.
Explain the bends.
Bends?
Yeah. Everyone's
nitrogen.
heard of the bends. You get the bends, but
Nitrogen.
what is it?
Nitrogen in the joints, that's all it is. Which you won't dispel. If you're under pressure for a long time and you come up fast, it's like a bottle of lemonade. You just shake it, all the bubbles come out. It's the same with your joints and your legs and your arms, your spine. Same idea.
And it's deadly, isn't it?
It's dead? Oh God, yeah. But the Admiralty tables is the safest in the world. You've got what you call Liverpool tables, American tables, sorry. They're not as safe, but Admiralty tables are very safe. We never had a bend in 38 years, so there you go. Suspect bend, but never.
How do they do research into the bends?
They do it with goats. They did it in Hasler with goats. 18 goats, and 10 of them died. They actually pressurised, same as they do to a diver, but they used the goats as, and they used to come up and they would scratch themselves just so they wouldn't have to go in the chamber and all this. The goats were switched on, they were, you know. But they died just the same. They killed them.
Go to the SS Richard Montgomery.
Yep.
Which was a US Liberty ship.
Yes.
Which it was anchored, I believe, and the 20th of August 1944 she dragged her anchor into the shallow water and grounded on a sandbank. There's still 1,400 tons of explosives aboard this ship.
That's right. Yeah.
Still there.
Yeah.
You dived on that, what, once a year?
Once a year to make sure none of this ammo was flowing out outside. But the crack is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. It's actually in half now, so it's getting bigger and bigger.
Did you have to, if the explosives had fallen out, did you have to recover them?
We wouldn't know, no.
But someone
the
did.
CDs would do it. Clearance divers would go out and do that, yeah.
Was there ever a possibility that this stuff's getting stolen
Not really.
by terrorist organisations?
Don't think so. I don't think so. It's being guarded all the time. Being watched all the time.
It is now.
It was since it went down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Swither, sorry.
Not like the off Rathlin Island. There's a big wartime First World War cruiser there, and it was full of ammunition which the IRA was stealing. I forget the name of the bloody ship now. The World War II, World War I battle cruiser. What the hell was it called?
It's very unstable after being on the water for a while, isn't it?
Well, not the stuff they were pinching it isn't. It was still live. I mean, you had shells, still loaded, ready to go on this cruiser, and they were going aboard inside it, pinching the shells, and what was inside the shells, which was loaded with gunpowder, and this what do you call the stuff that burns quite.
Cordite.
Cordite, that's it. Yeah, little cordite.
Used to trawl a lot of that up when I was fishing the channel.
Yeah. And it burns, no problem.
It does, yeah. It's like a flare, isn't it?
Yeah.
The Swither,
So yeah, that was a.
formerly the trawler, Ernest Holt, and was taken on by the Royal Navy as HMS Swither for the official protection. Ran aground on the 1st of Forth.
Hit a rock.
Is this the one that you thought you were pumping out, but just the tide was going out? Yeah.
God bless the Salvos officer. We're gaining. The tide was going down. The arse was out of it. Slide on the rock, right through the engine room.
I believe the remains are still there.
Some of it's still.
They used it in the end for, they thought they'd blow it up, so they used it for torpedo practice.
Johnny Fryer, he blew it up. Actually, a CD chief diver I know, he blew it up. They wanted rid of it.
Blew it in two halves.
Blew it in two half, yeah, so it'd sink, so nobody could see it.
Not all of the aircraft that you recovered were at sea, were they? In 1978, a jet Provost struck the water halfway along the Gulthwaite Reservoir.
Fairley Bridge, yeah.
Was flying low, showing off a
Showed off to his girlfriend,
to his
yeah.
girlfriend. So, or as they call it, pilot error.
Well, I went straight into the loch. A policeman who went out to try and, it was sinking at the time, the policeman went down to try and get him out, but he couldn't manage it, he couldn't get the cockpit open, and he just watched him die, I'm afraid, that's the way it goes. We picked him up later on.
Yeah, because it's in a lake or a reservoir, it wouldn't be a case of you take the ship there, would it?
No. We went by Land Rover, we took all our equipment in a lorry and Land Rovers.
And how did you get out to the crash site?
We used the Geminis.
So you could get all your equipment on a Gemini?
Yep, no problem. We stayed in Outward Bound School, and we were in canoes every night, paddling about, and we were doing quite well, quite lovely actually.
Is there any different challenges with freshwater and saltwater?
Well, it was high up, so the decompression, the tables were different. When you're high up,
Because the altitude of the reservoir.
that's right, you've got to take that into account, so it's a different tables again.
You did a submarine degaussing.
Yeah, we do that as well, we layer the ranges, yeah.
Why do you have to degauss ships and submarines?
Demagnetise, that's what that is, for mines, so mines don't blow them up. You've got cables go right around the ship. Every merchant navy ship had it at one time as well. Cables right around the ship.
So
every RN ship's got them as well.
So a ship builds up its own magnetic field over time.
That's right. So in a refit, you had to go to these ranges and demagnetise the ship. Because all the hammering was making a magnetic field.